don't know how people do this all the time. This is so scary. Well, let's start. I'm going to talk about skin types today, and this is pretty basic, but so important if you want to know more about what skincare you should be on, or what makeup you should be using, what tricks you can be using, and I want to talk about all of that in future videos, but I figured this was a good place to start since many people maybe don't know what their skin type is. This can be so helpful. And I have lipstick on my teeth. Good. So, first skin type I want to talk about is normal skin. And overall, before I start, a good way to tell what skin type you have is to wash your face in the beginning of the day and then wait a couple hours till about midday and see how your face is feeling. So for normal skin, you'll feel normal. So all skin types are based upon how much oil is produced by your hair follicles, so your pores. And they produce oil called sebum. And that sebum is a good thing. It provides a nice barrier and protective layer to the skin so that it's not harmed by the sun and environmental factors and things like that. And so in normal skin, you'll see a normal amount of oil production. There will be normal sized hair follicles or pores, nothing super big, but they're there. Your skin won't feel too tight or flaky or anything like that, and you won't see a lot of shininess by the middle of the day. And so that one's pretty straightforward. So next, if your face feels tight and dry and a little flaky maybe, you likely have dry skin. In dry skin, as you can probably assume, the hair follicles do not produce enough oil. So the good thing about this is people with dry skin, their hair follicles or their pores are fairly invisible, and they don't see a lot of breakouts. But with dry skin, the skin is more subject to the harsh environment and things like that, and pollution in the air and all of that, so it will tend to age faster. You'll see wrinkles and fine lines and sagging skin a lot sooner because that sebum's not there to protect the skin. A lot of people with dry skin also have sensitive skin. Sensitive skin is not a skin type, but it is a skin condition, and any of the skin types, whether you're dry, oily, whatever, you can have sensitive skin, but it is common in dry skin. There is another skin condition that people sometimes get confused with dry skin, and that is dehydrated skin. So dry skin, like I said before, is a lack of oil production in the skin, and dehydrated skin is a lack of water. Our body is naturally made up of water, and our skin holds on to that water, but people who are dehydrated, our skins aren't holding on to that water like they should be. So, and that's again not a skin type. That is not a skin type, but it is a skin condition. So you can change that. Unlike skin types. In skin types, you're born with it. They're genetic and they don't really change. They can change with age or lifestyle, things like that, but for the most part, they stay pretty consistent throughout your life. But in skin conditions, you can develop them and you can also correct them over time. So with dehydrated skin, it's really important that you're hydrating, obviously. So drinking a lot of water. And there are products that are considered water bonders. And if you apply them to the skin, they can help hold the water in your skin, basically. And a lot of people are dehydrated around their lips and their under eyes, so it's really important to keep those hydrated. So the third skin type is oily skin. Oily skin obviously produces too much sebum. So you'll see larger hair follicles, especially in the T-zone, which is the center of the face. Unlike people with dry skin, people that have oily skin develop wrinkles and fine lines, and they age a lot later in life because the oil is there to protect their skin. But they see larger hair follicles or pores on their face and more breakouts because the oil traps the dead skin that's trying to slough off the face. Our skin sheds every day millions of hair cells, or millions of skin cells shed every day off of our skin. So if that oil is there, it traps in the dead skin cells and other things like bacteria, and that causes the breakouts. So oily skin requires more exfoliation to help those dead skin cells be removed and more cleansing to balance the oils. So with oily skin, a lot of people think that you want to strip off all the oils and that moisturizing is a bad thing, when really you want to balance out the oil production. So by moisturizing and adding oil back into the skin, it's actually going to calm down the amount of oil production that our skin naturally has. So hydrating and moisturizing the skin with oily skin is so important because you don't want to think about stripping or cutting back the oil production on the skin. You want to think about balancing it out, if that makes sense. Lastly is combination skin, and as you can probably guess, combination skin is a combination of the other skin types. And I think this is pretty common. That's what I have. I'm pretty normal everywhere except for my T-zone. So the center of my face, again, produces a lot more oil, and I see the shininess throughout the day. My makeup tends to wear off in those places sooner than the rest. And so yeah, with combination skin, you can be dry and oily, oily and normal, dry and I don't know what I said or whatever, you know, you get the idea. And it's really important that the areas with the specific skin types get treated accordingly. So for me, I'm gonna spend more time exfoliating the oilier parts of my face, which is the center, than definitely the perimeter of my face. I can use thicker moisturizers around the perimeter of my face and maybe a gel, like water-based moisturizer in the center of my face. So it's definitely all about customizing your skincare routine, and we're gonna get way more in depth with that in future videos. This was just a quick intro to skin types, and hopefully that was helpful. Like I said before, in case you didn't know already, which I didn't know until I went to school, is that skin types are genetic and they don't change. They can change, like I said, a little bit, especially during like the teenage years. We'll see people are a lot more oily, or as we get older, all of our skin naturally gets drier over time, but for the most part, it stays consistent throughout your life. And so it's something that is really important to figure out and start treating now, since that's the skin that you're gonna have your whole life. And I wanna go more in depth into products and treatments and makeup products even that are going to be beneficial for all these different skin types and how to treat them. And hopefully this is helpful, and if you have any questions or further suggestions, please leave them down below or text me or call me or whatever. I don't know who's gonna watch this, like I said, but I hope that someone, whoever does, finds it helpful and it is beneficial and informational informational. Gosh, who's gonna listen to me? Oh my gosh. Okay. This is getting embarrassing and awkward because I'm talking to a wall. And I'm gonna go, but yes, thank you for anyone who watched and enjoyed and learned. And if you learned something new, let me know, because I would love to hear that this was helpful for somebody. And if you have, like I said, further questions or things did not make any sense, which I'm sure things did not make sense throughout this, then please let me know. And I'm excited to film more videos. Hopefully it gets less awkward. Thank you, bye.